He warned you with his silence. You thought he was passive until the silence turned into a storm. When a Sigma goes full savage, he doesn't raise his voice, he raises the stakes. Welcome to Brain Boosters, where noise dies and clarity speaks. The Sigma male walks through life like a shadow with weight, quiet, focused, and calculated. He's not in your face, not seeking attention, but his presence is undeniable. Unlike alpha males who dominate the room, or betas who follow the crowd, the Sigma doesn't play the game at all. He rewrites the rules. He operates on a frequency that's invisible to most, but impossible to ignore once triggered. He doesn't thrive on drama or chaos, but when pushed to his limits, he transforms into something unrecognizable, cold, precise, and unrelenting. It's not about shouting matches or emotional outbursts, it's about control of the situation, of the outcome, and most importantly, of himself. In psychological terms, Sigmas exhibit high levels of intrapersonal intelligence and emotional regulation. This allows them to assess threats, betrayals, or manipulations with stoic clarity and respond in ways that are swift, final, and often shocking. Going full savage mode doesn't mean he becomes violent. It means he enforces boundaries with surgical accuracy. He may cut off a manipulative friend without a word, dismantle toxic relationships like removing bad code from his life script, or walk away from situations most men cling to. Why? Because a Sigma male is not afraid of solitude, nor is he attached to validation. His silence is not weakness, it's observation. And when he acts, it's not for applause, it's for alignment. When the world pushes, the Sigma doesn't push back. He disappears, recalculates, and returns not to prove a point, but to prove he never needed to. This is what happens when the man who never needed the world decides to show the world why. This is what happens when a Sigma male goes full savage mode. Number 1, the world he walks in. The modern world is built on volume. Likes, views, followers, trends. The louder someone is, the more they're rewarded. In this age of constant noise, where people shout to be heard and post to be validated, the Sigma male moves in the opposite direction. He thrives in silence, not because he lacks power, but because he understands it. While society runs in circles chasing approval, the Sigma male operates from the sidelines, not out of fear or insecurity, but from a place of quiet mastery. His detachment isn't a flaw, it's a form of wisdom. In psychology, emotional detachment can be a healthy coping mechanism. It allows one to remain grounded, rational, and unaffected by the chaos of others. The Sigma doesn't avoid the world. He studies it. He sees the illusion of popularity, the shallowness of trends, the emptiness of attention-seeking. Society often mistakes his silence for submission. They assume if he isn't playing the power games, he must be powerless, but that's where they're wrong. His silence is not compliance, it's calculation. Detachment for the Sigma is not indifference, it's protection. He doesn't follow the crowd because he understands where the crowd is being led into distraction, conformity, and mediocrity. But when society pushes too far, when betrayal, disrespect, or manipulation crosses in a threshold, he doesn't react like the average man. He doesn't explode, post a rant, or seek petty revenge. He simply makes a move. Swift, cold, decisive. That's when the silent observer becomes the silent executor. He doesn't act out of emotion, he acts with intention. This trait mirrors the strategic temperament of a chess master, always several moves ahead, never revealing his plan until it's too late. He's not interested in revenge, he's interested in correction. That might mean removing people from his life, changing direction without explanation, or cutting ties with systems that no longer serve him. It's not drama, it's discipline. And discipline in its truest form is a kind of quiet strength. The Sigma male understands that sometimes the loudest message is spoken through action, not words. In a world obsessed with being seen, he chooses to be effective. While others burn themselves out trying to fit in or rise up the social ladder, the Sigma quietly builds a life on his own terms, unshaken, unnoticed, and ultimately undeniable. Number 2, the core within. The Sigma male's mind is a fortress, unyielding, impenetrable, and carved from years of solitude, silent reflection, and relentless self-discipline. He wasn't born this way. Life forged him. Every rejection didn't break him, it reinforced his inner walls. Every setback wasn't a failure, it was a sharpening stone. While others seek validation through noise, the Sigma male thrives in silence. When he goes savage, it's not a reckless outburst or emotional meltdown. It's a precise, controlled withdrawal, a cold, calculated removal of tolerance for nonsense, betrayal, or disrespect. He doesn't yell to prove his point, he exits, and when he leaves, he takes with him his energy, his loyalty, and the rare value he brought to the table. You don't get a second plea for loyalty from him. He doesn't negotiate with disloyalty. He replaces it with silence, a language that speaks louder than any confrontation. Psychologically, Sigmas often rank high in traits such as introversion, emotional independence, and strategic thinking, qualities linked to the INTJ or ISTP personality types in the Myers-Briggs system. They're not emotionally detached, but emotionally efficient. Emotion isn't a weakness in their world. It's a tool used sparingly, wisely. And when a Sigma enters savage mode, it's not vengeance, it's clarity. He strips away distractions, fake friendships, shallow drama, and everything that doesn't serve his purpose. It's minimalist masculinity at its peak. What aligns with his mission remains. What doesn't vanishes without fanfare. His coldness isn't cruelty, it's the consequence of misplaced trust. He was warm once, open, kind, even vulnerable, but some warmed their hands at his fire, only to set that same flame against him. That betrayal didn't ruin him, it refined him. Now the fire still burns, but behind stone walls and a watchful gatekeeper. Inside, he isn't bitter. He's simply done with people who only show up when they need him. Done explaining himself to those who never cared to understand. Done offering parts of himself to those who only wanted to take. The savage Sigma isn't dangerous because he's angry, he's dangerous because he's clear. And when a man becomes that clear about who he is and what he will no longer accept, he becomes unstoppable. His silence becomes a boundary, his absence becomes a message. His focus becomes lethal. This isn't about revenge, it's about evolution. Number 3, the clash of worlds. The savage Sigma male doesn't explode, he evaporates. In a world obsessed with noise, dominance, and attention, the Sigma operates differently, silently, strategically, and with unnerving calm. When he withdraws, it's not to provoke a reaction, but to protect his energy. And in that cold retreat, the entire social dynamic begins to unravel. The alpha, who thrives on challenges and chest-thumping confrontation, is left baffled by the Sigma's sheer indifference. He sees the lack of response not as neutrality, but as a challenge to his dominance. The beta, reliant on affirmation and social approval, feels invisible and unworthy. Manipulators, those who rely on emotional bait, are left exposed when the Sigma refuses to play. And women who thought emotional games gave them leverage suddenly find themselves staring into an emotional abyss. The Sigma doesn't argue, shout, or slam doors. He simply vanishes, and his silence is deafening. That disappearance isn't a tantrum, it's a boundary, a permanent one. Psychologically, this behavior ties closely to what's known as or methods often used by those who have mastered emotional regulation. Sigma males by nature are introspective and self-reliant. They don't react impulsively, they calculate. Cutting someone off isn't an act of anger, but of self-respect. He isn't punishing you, he's protecting himself. And once he decides that someone has violated his core values or disrespected his essence, there's no warning shot. He's just gone, emotionally detached, spiritually distant, mentally unreachable. This isn't a power move, it's a survival instinct. When a Sigma enters savage mode, his usual quiet strength turns impenetrable. His boundaries aren't drawn in sand, they're carved in stone. And if you try to cross them, you'll find yourself alone, facing a version of him you never saw coming. The truth is, he doesn't need to destroy anyone. He lets their own actions do the work. The Sigma male knows this. Real power isn't in dominating others, but in mastering oneself. And once he's done with you, there's no comeback story, not because he hates you, but because he loves his peace more than your presence. That's the silent savagery of a Sigma male. Number 4, the rise of the lone wolf. Savage mode isn't chaos, it's clarity. It's not about rage, revenge, or emotional retaliation. For the Sigma male, going savage doesn't mean becoming unhinged, it means becoming unstoppable. While the world expects fireworks, noise, and dramatic displays of defiance, the Sigma takes a different route. He doesn't explode, he evolves. When life throws its harshest punches, others might rant, crumble, or seek attention. But the Sigma channels that storm inward, converting every wound into fuel. He hits the gym with a vengeance, not to show off, but to sharpen his mind-body connection. He disappears into books, business strategies, and self-discipline, not for applause, but for precision. He upgrades silently because he understands something most don't. The loudest man in the room is usually the weakest. The Sigma doesn't flaunt progress, he it. Every rejection, betrayal, or setback becomes a stepping stone. He doesn't post his grind on social media. He doesn't need cheers, likes, or validation. What he becomes in private, the world eventually cannot ignore. This is the essence of savage mode, the ruthless commitment to mastery without needing recognition. Psychology supports this mindset. Studies show that intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within, leads to more sustained success than chasing external approval. In savage mode, the Sigma doesn't seek to destroy others, that's too easy. He aims higher, to destroy every limit placed on him by fear, society, and self-doubt. And when he breaks those chains, he gains the rarest kind of freedom. Not freedom responsibility, but freedom. He no longer needs the world's validation, affection, or permission. That is true power. It's not about vengeance. It's not about proving others wrong. It's about victory, earned in silence, sealed in solitude. That's what makes the Sigma's savage mode terrifyingly beautiful. Not the chaos he causes, but the order he forges in himself. He becomes the man no one can control, no one can break, and no one can replace. And number 5, the precision of his strike. The savage Sigma doesn't throw punches, he throws outcomes. He's not interested in theatrics or emotional outbursts. Every move he makes is calculated, quiet, and precise, like a master strategist in a chess game, already 10 steps ahead before his opponent even realizes the game has begun. The Sigma male operates on an internal code built on self-respect, independence, and clarity. When he's disrespected or betrayed, he doesn't explode, he exposes. He doesn't lash out to prove a point, he simply lets the truth unveil itself. A liar's narrative begins to unravel, a manipulator's strings snap, a fake friend's mask slips, and the Sigma watches, detached yet aware, as everything falls into place exactly as he predicted. He doesn't need a spotlight to get even, his silence is louder than any confrontation. If you missed the warning signs, that was your mistake. The first sign was silence, an uncomfortable quiet that speaks volumes. The second was distance, both emotional and physical. And the third was disappearance, his complete withdrawal from your life like you were never there. This isn't drama, it's design. Sigma males don't give second chances after the line is crossed. And when they walk away, it's not to punish you, it's to protect their peace. There's no yelling, no social media rants, and no dramatic speeches. There's only absence. And in that absence lies a powerful message. You are never indispensable. You don't get a return ticket. When a Sigma leaves, he doesn't leave scars. He leaves lessons etched into your memory, not with pain, but with impact. Psychologically, this kind of response aligns with the traits of high self-differentiation, a concept in emotional intelligence where a person can remain calm and maintain their values under pressure. The Sigma's detachment isn't cold, it's controlled. It's a sign of emotional discipline, not emotional absence. In a world that rewards loud gestures, the Sigma male's power comes from his restraint. His revenge is not loud, messy, or public, it's permanent. Because for a Sigma, the ultimate victory isn't in defeating someone, it's in walking away unaffected, leaving the other person to confront their own actions. That's what makes him dangerous, not his wrath, but his refusal to engage in anything beneath him. When he cuts ties, it's surgical, clean, final, and unforgettable. Number 6, the weapon of indifference. People expect anger. They expect shouting, slamming doors, wild arguments, and emotional explosions. That's the script they know, the chaos they crave. But what throws them off, what truly shocks and disarms them, is indifference. That cold silence, that calm stare, that complete emotional detachment. It's not weakness, it's strategy. It's the Sigma male at his most dangerous. While most people react impulsively when provoked, the Sigma operates from a place of inner stillness. His greatest act of power isn't vengeance, it's neutrality. He doesn't let other people's drama penetrate his peace. You insult him, he doesn't retaliate, he observes. You betray him, he doesn't lash out. He nods, lets go, and disappears. You try to push his buttons, hoping for a reaction, but get only stillness in return. That's what makes him savage. Psychology confirms this behavior as a sign of high emotional intelligence. The ability to self-regulate, to delay gratification, and to detach from toxic patterns is the foundation of stoic strength. The Sigma male has mastered this. He's not emotionless, he just doesn't allow emotions to dominate him. His validation doesn't come from external approval. He's self-anchored, rooted in personal values and internal goals. This is not only rare, it's threatening to those who rely on manipulation, guilt, or chaos to control others. When a Sigma doesn't engage, It strips their power away. He becomes immune to drama, toxic cycles, and emotional traps. This isn't coldness, it's clarity. In fact, neuroscientists have found that people who cultivate calm under pressure activate areas of the brain associated with focus and long-term decision-making rather than fight or flight. So when the Sigma male refuses to feed the fire, he's not suppressing emotion, he's channeling it. That's why he's untouchable. He can feel everything but chooses to act on almost nothing. This restraint isn't weakness, it's dominance. The loudest man in the room may appear powerful, but the quiet one who doesn't flinch, he owns the room. And in that silence, in that composed smile after betrayal, the Sigma male communicates something that words never could. You don't control me, you never did. Number 7, the exile becomes a throne. When a Sigma male vanishes, people often assume he's running from something. But the truth is, he's not hiding, he's ascending. Solitude is his sanctuary, his forge, where the raw material of thought is shaped into something sharper and stronger. When the world becomes too noisy with gossip, too fake with shallow validation, or too hostile with constant judgment, the Sigma doesn't retaliate. He retreats into silence. But this isn't a retreat of weakness. It's a strategic withdrawal, like a warrior sharpening his sword in the dark. Science shows that solitude isn't harmful when chosen. It enhances creativity, boosts mental clarity, and fosters emotional regulation. And Sigma males understand this instinctively. While the masses are caught in an endless scroll of distraction and dopamine hits, he's resetting his inner compass. He's reflecting on his next mission. He's redefining his goals. It could be a shift in financial strategy, a personal transformation, or a deeper spiritual alignment. His solitude becomes the launch pad for reinvention. And by the time people start to wonder where he's gone, it's too late. He's already miles ahead, mentally sharper, emotionally balanced, and often financially upgraded. Studies in behavioral psychology even suggest that intentional isolation can enhance focus and goal attainment. Traits Sigma males use to stay ahead of the curve. He doesn't need to announce his transformation. The results speak for themselves. So when a Sigma vanishes, don't be fooled into thinking he's lost. He's simply gone where few dare to go, inward. And in that silence, he's building, evolving, becoming. What looks like disappearance is actually a silent evolution, one that sets him apart not just from the noise, but from every man who's afraid of it. Number 8, the unseen legacy. The savage Sigma doesn't chase legacy, he becomes it. This isn't just a poetic idea, it's a way of life rooted in the powerful psychology of high-functioning lone wolves. Unlike traditional alpha personalities who dominate through external displays of power, or beta males who seek approval through conformity, the Sigma male carves his own path with quiet intensity. He doesn't crave validation or applause. He leaves behind no drama, no dependency, no trail of chaos, only results. In a world obsessed with noise, his silence is more deafening than any shout. While others trend, perform, or hustle for attention, the Sigma fades into the background, yet his absence leaves a void. His words, spoken with calculated intent, echo long after he's exited the scene. There's a reason this archetype resonates in culture, from Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name to Keanu Reeves' John Wick. These men don't seek fame, they become legends because they embody something eternal, mastery without ego, purpose without showmanship. Their discipline and self-sufficiency set them apart. They understand that true impact doesn't require an audience, it requires integrity. The savage Sigma has nothing left to prove. He's not playing a game of image or influence, he's playing for evolution. And when that inner switch flips, when his identity is no longer tied to external validation, that's when his real power begins. People call it cold, but he calls it clarity. Because clarity cuts deeper than emotion ever could. He sees the world without illusion, stripped of noise and distractions. That's why those who once doubted him now find themselves studying him, trying to understand how someone could walk away from everything, yet still hold the upper hand. He never needed a stage because he the message. His life becomes a mirror that reflects truth back at a world still addicted to pretense. In the end, the savage Sigma doesn't need to be remembered. He simply becomes unforgettable. So when the Sigma male goes full savage, it's not a loud declaration or a chest-thumping spectacle. It's a quiet revolution, deep within him and radiating silently outward. Unlike the alpha who charges forward with dominance, the sigma doesn't need validation or applause. His transformation is surgical, not emotional. It's the product of long periods of observation, strategic withdrawal, and intense self-discipline. Psychologically, this shift aligns with Carl Jung's concept of the lone wolf archetype, a man who integrates both his shadow and strength without external approval. When a sigma has nothing left to lose, he becomes dangerously focused. No more people-pleasing, no more explaining, just decisive action. And that unnerves everyone around him. Why? Because society is conditioned to fear what it can't predict. His silence, that wasn't weakness. It was sharpening. It was resilience being forged in solitude. When he finally moves, he doesn't seek to impress. He aims to evolve. He cuts ties, rewrites his path, and builds in silence. And when the world finally notices, it's too late to stop him. The savage mode of a sigma isn't chaos, it's clarity, precision, and purpose unleashed. Stay curious, stay dangerous, stay sigma.